I'm here with Black Seat of RBL Posse. What's good with you?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, Ruthless by Law, is a legendary Bay Area group. How did you guys get the name Ruthless by Law?
A friend of mine, we was actually called the Hit Squad, and we found out back then that Eric Sermon and Paris ended up coming with the Hit Squad, so we had to switch the name up. And one of my guys, we was in the studio. He was just like, "Man, y'all Ruthless by Law." And it just stuck with us. You know what I mean? I was like, Ruthless by Law. He's like, yeah, man, that's what y'all is. We're gonna start calling y'all Ruthless by Law. They can have the Hit Squad. And I liked it. I just felt it was a little too long. So I just, instead of just spelling out the whole Ruthless by Law, we started calling each other, we just started calling it RBL. And it went from RBL to the Posse. Once we took the album cover pictures, we ended up adding the Posse on because we had a few homies take pictures with us that day.
Most definitely. And you
Mhm.
grew up in Hunters Point on Harvey Road. Can you talk a little bit about growing up, in late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, yep, Harbor Road, man. That was man, how can I say it? I mean, it's just like any other ghetto, projects, government housing, old Navy, Army bunkers, people migrated from the South up to Hunters Point to get jobs to work at the Navy Yard that's down the street from the projects. Because the project's got a view where you can look over to Oakland. It's like right on the bay.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's $1 million view. If you
Mhm.
ever been up there, or people
Yeah.
you Google it, you'll see the $1 million view. Like you can see the bridge over to the left. Um, I mean, you got views all the way out to the right, Oakland straight across. And like I said, and people migrated out there getting jobs working at the Navy Yard and end up getting government assistance. And my father was one of them, his mom and them was one of them that went out there for work, came from the South, migrated from Fort Worth and Waco. And yeah, he ended up meeting my mom out there. And yeah, they had me, and she ended up getting her own place up there on the hill and never left. And growing up, it was always like they say, it takes a village to raise a kid, and it really did. It was really like a village up there. We had damn near all our friends' moms. We always addressed them as Mama, Mama Rose, Mama Walanda, Mama Margie. They all was mamas. You know what I mean? My mama was Mama Faye to my friends. So. My mom was at work, working at C's Candy back then, gone, and we staying at Mama Rose's house. She had permission to spank us, and so did all the other mothers around there. So it was fun. It was cool. We had a local boys club up there on the hill. We had the Hunters Point gym, which we all played flag football, basketball, baseball. It was real cool, man. Actually, and I didn't realize at the time, I was having the best time of my life. I didn't realize that we were actually living in low income projects
Mhm.
and, that we were struggling. It didn't feel like we were struggling at the time, because it was so fun out there. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it in the 70s and then until it got to the 80s and crack hit.
Yeah.
Once crack came into play, that's when you start seeing a decline, what I mean, with just with relationships, just with the whole, how can I say it, just the whole atmosphere up there changed, you know. And yeah, mothers who looked it good, who you probably had a crush on one of your friend's mom or auntie or something, you start seeing them coming around looking like zombies all of a sudden. And I ended up getting in the game around 87, around 86, 87. I got in the game and started hustling and dealing drugs and ended up leading me to a little stint in juvenile facilities in and out, me and my brothers and us. And yeah, from there it was just all downhill. That with drugs come violence, guns, the gang banging, and everything else. So Yeah, but besides that, before the crack though, it was real cool up there. Very cool.
You talk about community. I feel like, today in 2024, I think we've lost a lot of that, like, where it's like you aren't like, likely to see like, people like, spank someone else's child. Like, sometimes and stuff like I feel like the communities I live in, sometimes I don't even know my neighbors. Real like, so
Oh,
you feel we've lost something like that?
yeah, yeah. I feel like we lost a lot of it. Like I said, a lot of people moved out the hood, and it's like the gentrification starts setting in. That's coming. That's like they moving like it's like that right now in Hunters Point. You move up there. I mean, you go through there. You seeing a lot of Caucasian, Asian, and Latinos around there more than you see blacks. It used to be thriving. It used to be a thriving black community, but now a lot of people moving out. They out here where I'm at in Antioch. They in Vallejo, Fairfield, Stockton. Some moving to Sacramento. It's kind of like they all dispersed, going different places. But yeah, it's not. It's definitely not the same. It's gentrified like crazy.
Most definitely, I think like San Francisco is a huge example of gentrification. I think there's been a couple movies made about it actually. And one of the things I think, like, particularly during like, the crack epidemic, I think you've talked about it like in previous interviews, is how like, it went from like, people who were like, being pimps and players, like, to like, getting money and like, being drug dealers. How did you get involved in like the dope game?
Just seeing, I mean, just like anybody else, I mean, you see, like you say, at first it was a time in the 70s. It was like, say, a lot of pimps, players. There was hustlers out there. They just weren't selling super hard drugs, not on the streets. It was mainly like weed being sold, maybe a couple volumes, pills, whatever being sold. But for the hard drugs, you had to know somebody to go to their house. Like heroin. I think heroin was big then, and then it was cocaine. And a lot of the drug addicts who was on the heroin and everything, then you had to know somebody and you going to their house to get it. And it was more like a thing where it was happening. It wasn't happening right out on the streets. It was something that was happening probably at parties or late night. It wasn't happening around us. I know my pops dealt cocaine. He used to sell quarter tees and eight balls and all that, but he hid it from us. And I didn't really know he was a drug dealer because they kept everything. My mom and them downstairs playing dominoes, listening to oldies, and they might want to get high, and it's might be 9 o'clock at night. The kids had to be upstairs. They kept it away from us. We had to be upstairs in the bed. Then the drugs came out, but I got involved just seeing homies of mine just on the block. First, you looked up to like the pimps and the players. They was looking real fly, driving around Cadillacs, Sevilles, Eldorados, and then it went from that to like the new age hustlers who, when crack came into play, you starting to see them driving around in Skylarks with Zeniths and Vogues and Star Wires and Vogues, and you seeing them fly with the Adidas sweatsuits and the Fila sweatsuits and the big donkey ropes and chains on, and it was like, damn, I want that. And I remember my mom wanting I remember I wanted a pair of top 10 Adidas, some reptiles that came out back then, and some tobaccos. I was sweating her about some black Adidas, and the shell tops and shell toes. And she was just like, you got to get what I can get you from Mervyn's. I'm putting it on my charge card. You go to Mervyn's, they had a little small selection of shoes like Stadias and stuff like that, kangaroos. They did had Nikes. They didn't have the top tens or the popular Nikes. I had to get whatever the department store carried. And that kind of right there is what kind of pushed me into hustling because one of my homies was out there who went to school with me. Well, he's the same age as me. He went to school, but then he ended up dropping out and he started selling dope. And we used to kind of always talk about, man, shaming him out, man, you gonna go to jail, you stupid, you dropping out of school. But then he started getting real popular as the weeks going on. They was like, man, you seen Quindale? He got the new starter jacket. Oh, he got the fresh pair of shoes on. He got this, he got that. And we started scratching our head like we sitting around here wearing whatever our mom bought us, and he around here getting all the girls. He looking fly. He talking about buying a car, and he ain't number like 14 years old. So we just like, man, forget this. Hey, we can't talk about him. We trying to join him now. So we start asking questions, bro, where you get that from? What you doing? How you sell it? What you do? How you rocking it up? And I ended up getting with this a friend of my cousin. I had a girl, my girl cousin. She was a little older than me. She had a boyfriend. And I knew he was doing something because he was only probably like about 17, 18. And he had a 6'6", a 6'7" Mustang. And it was fly, it was nice. And I was just looking at it just like, and I was just like, man, how you get that? You work? And he was just like, nah, I don't work. I hustle. And I just started getting curious and asking him, what he hustled with, how he doing it. And he was just like, man, look, you want me to put you on and, I'll show you how to do it if you're serious. And I was just like, yeah. And he ended up giving me a quarter ounce of Coke and he ended up showing me how to rock it up. Going to the record store, bought a little shaker bottle. And that's when we used to have to rock it up ourselves, little bitty rocks at a time, doing a 20 shot at a time. And that's pretty much how I got in the game. And I never looked back ever since then. I never started dropping out and blew past my homie who started before us. And I just started just flipping, flipping, flipping. And, from there, yeah, I just started moving up and started just buying my own and went from getting fronted to buying my own to just start having my little crew. And that's when the police and the raids and stuff started happening too. It came with it, right along with it.
Yeah, it's like a yin and a yang because with the ability to kind of like be your own independent business, but also there's like a lot of destruction coming into the community, because obviously like people were going to jail because of law enforcement, and then the addiction to people who happen to be addicted to these drugs. Were you realizing that this is like an addictive substance that you're selling, that potentially is ruining people's lives, or like what
You
was
was
your
aware of it.
mindset?
Yeah, you was aware of it, but you was also, it was an addiction for the seller too, because you was
Right.
addicted to that money. That fast money was coming in. So you didn't care that your somebody that you knew, an acquaintance or a homie of yours, mom coming up asking you to buy some dope. And no matter how much you tell her, man, I can't serve you, man, I know your son, and man, he my friend, and she go get it from somebody else. So it was just like, you know what I mean? It got to a point where even your friends started didn't care. They was like, bro, she on drugs, bro. I ain't even tripping on that. So it was just one of those things where you seen the community starting to definitely dwindle down. And but I mean, like I said, it was pros and cons because it helped my family, it helped me and my brothers and us, you know what I mean? Even though we didn't really have to, but my mom was struggling a little bit. But once we started doing what we was doing, she kind of benefited from it. We all benefited. And but it was at the, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was at the how can I put it? Just saying like, my homie was losing his mom. We probably was gaining and winning in certain ways, but we had to sacrifice our homie's mother or auntie or whatever. You know what I mean? So the hood was definitely going down when the crack era came, and it definitely also brought the police. It was a bunch of cons that came along with it. The money was cool, but the people we lost, I look back on it now. Just I used to say hindsight 2020. It's like when you look back on it now, it's like, yeah, we survived and we got a lot out of it, but at the same time, we lost a lot of homies. We lost a lot of people to the drugs, and we done lost the hood. We didn't own none of that, and it was like something that we thought we owned, just being in that hood every day. We didn't really like make businesses out of it. We just sold drugs and just was buying fancy things. None of us really invested into no businesses. Like, okay, we made 100,000. Let's go try to buy a storefront. Let's go try to open up a store. Like a lot of us didn't do that. It was just like we went to jail, came home. A lot of dudes came home years later and had to get a job. And I thank God my daughter in music pretty much saved me. Because I don't have nothing. I can't even say I have anything from the drug game except my old school that I bought when I was young. I bought that when I was like in '87. I bought that when I was probably like 15. And that's the only thing that I still have from that era. Everything else is gone. I have nothing from that. So in the end, we all lost, and nobody benefited. Even the big time drug dealers that I know, James Beasley and all of them, they went and sat down for 30 years. He came home to a few crumbs that he had to invest in a business and try to make something out of himself, which he did. And he went in there in the feds and ended up, getting in the books and started reading and learning about business and was able to come out and capitalize off of it.
Right. Would you say that the drugs like pretty much increase the violence because like in 87 like a turf war starts, I guess
Yeah,
between Hunters Points, Fillmore, and Sunnydale. Can you talk a little
yeah,
bit about that?
yeah, most definitely. Because now once you making money, you got to watch out for the dope fiends. You got to watch out for other rivals who might not like you that you then fell out with, and so now you buying protection now. So now you got guns. See, it used to be in the I say the early '80s, the '70s to the almost late '80s, like until like '87. We used to all fight, get into it with somebody. Nobody even thought about a pistol. You just fight. You win some, you lose some, and that was it. You didn't try to retaliate with no gun. But then by the time I say around like '88, '87, going into '88, we all start buying guns. And once their first gun went off, and I would say too, is also I would contribute a lot of it to like us watching Colors. Colors that came out and kind of influenced us with the LA, the culture of LA kind of came up. We seeing that stuff on TV. We used to always hear about it, about the gangs in LA, and that kind of motivated us. And then, a little bit after that, you seen like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. Was a lot of those stories that kind of influenced us and how we was moving. And so now when we going against Sunnydale, we used to be going to the Palladiums or Maritime Halls or whatever was popping at the time, whatever club. And we used to fight, see him at the Fun Center and fight, see him at Ceremony Shopping Center, fight. Now guns come into play because now all y'all sell dope, all y'all got money. Now we got a crew. Now everybody want to be the man. So now you riding around with a 9mm or a 357 or a 38 or something. So once you fight and gun come out, and once that gun come out, it was over with. You know, I don't remember who drew first or who was the first person that actually got shot, but I know once we kind of fell out with Sunnydale and guns was drawn, it got worse after that. You know, that's what ended up leading to the gang wars in San Francisco.
And you actually got hit in a drive-by.
Yeah, drive by, got shot in the eye, lost my right eye in the drive by. Yeah, just being stupid was a part of the all the dumbness. I was around there just making stupid decisions, wanting to be in the forefront, trying to lead the pack. When people get to talking crazy about Hunters Point, I'm right there trying to be the first one to show them like that we about it. And yeah, I learned the hard way, just by losing a limb. And I didn't lose my life. We lost a lot of people that lost their lives. So I was actually blessed to be a hard-headed one that's still here breathing. So I learned from that mistake very fast,
Do
you
you
know.
believe in a higher power, like, because you've been through a lot in life, like, obviously, like, being shot and, so many members, like, people that you were associated dying, because of gun violence. Do you feel like, a higher power is guiding you or protecting you, or like, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, most definitely. I definitely believe in a higher power. I don't we used to go to church when we was younger. I definitely don't believe in the church system and how the churches work nowadays, but I definitely pray and I do believe we done been put here through a higher being. I definitely believe in something's out there. It's something, and me praying and the way my mom and all them was that raised me and just in the stuff I done been through in close calls, I just feel like, yeah, I'm one of them chosen ones that just show my people and try to lead them down the right path. That's why when when I did lose my eye and I had my daughter, a lot of things was happening at one time, and I felt it. You know, it's just one of them things where it's just like
And
you
you're
just
going through a lot of this, like, you know what I mean, at a young age, because you're a juvenile. Like, I guess, like, yeah, at some point, you actually, like, you know, the authorities are trying to connect you to a murder, say that you're there, but like, you're lucky to be able to afford a lawyer and you get to go to a group home. Uh,
right.
that's like, you know, like when you get out of there, like you start doing music, you talk about like, you know, going to that group home and, you know, being able to avoid, you know, potentially
Uh,
being connected to murder.
if I wouldn't have even went to log cabin, I've probably been doing life because my boy, who I used to be with every day, ended up getting life, and they tried to say my car was implicated in a drive-by. And thank God when they ran my records, they seen that I was in juvenile during the time this drive-by happened when this dude named Cooley from Sunnydale got killed. And my best friend, who I was with all the time, he ended up getting life. Later on, they let him out. They let him out, and he did like 15, almost 15 years. And they had to pay him and everything, but you know, he was gone from the late 80s. He missed all of the 90s and some of the 2000s. He got out like 2004, you know. So it was one of them things where it seemed like forever. Like right now we look back at it, the 14 years kind of went fast, but when we was young and you go do 14, it seemed like forever. It seemed like he was gone forever. But yeah, ain't no telling. And the outcome probably would have been different if I'd have been there with him. And ain't no telling if she would have came later on and said, "Oh, the police cursed me in the line and all that." So ain't no telling, you know, that everything was meant. It was meant for me to be gone, so I don't go to jail with him. He had to go sit down, and a girl ended up, you know, her conscience was eating her up, and she ended up coming forward saying what happened, and saying that the police needed somebody for the murder, and they got her to lie on them because, you know, he was pretty popular. You know, he was me and him, we was known pretty popular, so they just wanted to take us down at the time because we was like when it came to like Hunter's Point, our names rang bells first, you know.
Most
So
definitely. I think like, you know, a lot of times, like, you know, like people don't realize that the criminal justice system is built on cases. Like, you know, they can bring somebody down, you know, especially somebody who's successful that helps them like rise up to the ranks as like, you know, district attorneys or whatever. And I know like before your second album, you know, you had another brush with the criminal law system. I guess there was a rape case where a little girl was
yeah,
compromised.
yeah, yeah, that right there, man, was another thing where it's just like we about to drop our second album and the studio, I was renting out this lady home and yeah, some youngsters who they was from my neighborhood, they knew us. We was pretty popular from the first album. And they lured the two youngsters into my studio. They was only like 14 years old. And these dudes got them up there saying they was me and my brother. And, you know, they got them over to the block saying, yeah, you want to meet RBL and this and that. And the girls was like, oh yeah, y'all know them. And yeah, they are homies. We'll take you to the studio. So they took them up to our studio and commenced the sex playing the girls and started raping them and yeah, they came and took us and sat us down for about 8 months. We was in there
Wow.
for almost a year. And thank God how it worked out. It was just crazy that one of my friends, one of my closest best friends was um mom started a group home and the girl who got raped ended up getting placed there temporarily just for like a couple months until they found her a permanent residence. And my boy was like, bro, this girl's in there talking to my mom, telling her about the about some guys on Harbor Road because she was letting her know that we used to stay on Harbor because they was in Oakland at the time. And he was like, man, I come in, I'm listening to her. And I tell my mom, like, man, that's the girl that got raped over there on Harbor that they said Chris and them did it. She was like, yeah, she was telling me that she got raped by Black C and his brother and this and that. And she's like, man, I talked to Chris. Chris wasn't there. There was some dudes that said her name and all this that was using their name. And So his mom ended up talking to her and asked Cornell, said, man, see if she'd be willing to come see us, man. She can just come visit us. I just want her to see who we are. If she come up here and she see who we are, she'll see that we wasn't there. And she actually agreed to do it. His mom, thank God, she didn't, act funny, was like, nah, I'm gonna keep her out of it. I don't want her going to go see nobody. She ended up bringing her up there. And she came with my brother. They came to see us and she walked in and she was like, oh no, who is y'all? She was like, y'all definitely wasn't there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Black Sea. And she was like, oh, she was like, nah, y'all wasn't, nah, it ain't y'all. And she saw my brother. I was like, yeah, they saying me and my brother was there. She's like, nah, they was just saying your name, but y'all, if you Black Sea, no, you definitely wasn't there. And if you, he was like, yeah, man, they said I'm Dre. I'm Bebe, I'm Dre. He's like, nah, neither one of y'all was there. She said, I know the guys' faces who was there. She said, if I seen them, I would know them. And like, we asked her to come to court. And man, it just worked out for us. We had 65 counts of
Right.
rape, sodomy, kidnap. I
Yeah.
mean,
A lot of people don't realize, like, until like, they're in the criminal justice system. Cause like I had like something like, similar happen where I got charged with some very serious charges that I didn't do. I ended up spending 11 months in county and like, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this. All you can really rely on is God and like, the truth to come
that's
forth.
it.
But I
That's it.
feel like,
And every
it,
night.
it really opened my eyes to how unjust the criminal justice system is. I think like, there's a lot of people and stuff who get overcharged in the criminal justice system,
Mhm.
like where like, maybe what they did wasn't even as major as they're trying to make it seem, or sometimes and stuff like, they didn't even do a lot of what they're alleging that they done. And then like, you have like these prosecutors who will lie. And, this happens to be, an election year, and I know, like, what I mean, during that time, like, Kamala Harris, she comes about like 8 years later, but like
Mhm.
she eventually becomes like the DA in San Francisco. And, like now she's running for like, president. She's the
Right.
vice president, but like a lot of people, have criticism of her, because of her history is like, the DA. Did you have it? Did you hear anything about her as the DA, like, in the Bay Area?
I mean, I just heard things. I never got a chance to experience when her administration or when she was doing her term. I don't, no, I don't know. I haven't experienced anything. I had moved out by then. I was out here in Antioch, but I seen
True
Jamal
love.
too. Yeah, I seen him talking about it. Seen a few people talking about it that she was prosecuting people for weed. I mean, all of them in San Francisco, they just be wanting to close them cases. They just be
Right.
wanting to close murder cases. So they going anybody that comes up and is they gonna just go on it. And it's just that's so bad because you look at you feel like the law should work for you, not against you, to where it's like, man, like, okay, if you know you didn't do it, you're supposed to feel good in jail, like, man, they're gonna investigate and I should be out of here.
Right.
Not, I'm about to get railroaded, like, oh shit, gotta do my own investigation from in here. It's like it don't make no sense. Like you are really guilty and you got to prove your innocence. It ain't that you innocent until they prove you guilty. It just don't work like that. So it's just hard, man, when they just really so eager and moving so fast just to like bro, y'all playing with people's lives out here. Like you can't be serious to just haul off and just send somebody like that. Like I don't know, to me it's just crazy. And it's a lot of people. That's why they gotta pay. It's a lot of people that's been coming home that have been paying millions for. I mean, they can't make up for the
Yeah.
lost time, but man, break the city. If you gotta break that city and man, put them in a negative, do it. Because it don't make no sense. Y'all got to really watch these fucking homicide detectives, these police. Y'all got to really go over everything with a fine tooth comb, and y'all not doing that. You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous that even now they be like, this DNA stuff, man, this DNA evidence. Why y'all not checking it? Why y'all ain't taking them out? Like, let me check it. See what's and sometimes you got to worry about that. If they taking your blood or hair samples, you don't know if they want to go place that shit up in there. So you can't trust anybody. It should be so hard. Man, it's hard. And I feel for the people who in there doing time, man. I'm talking about time like my boy did 14. My other guys, I just seen this dude just came home. at the United Players thing from doing damn near 30 years. And it's just like this time that they taking away from people is just ridiculous, man. Dude, leave at 20 years old, you coming home at fucking 51. It's like don't make no sense.
Definitely. And I guess like after the juvenile detention, like, you ended up like, getting some equipment, like, at the suggestion of a friend, and you started making beats at first. And then like,
Yeah. Yeah,
uh
I kind of got into that without even trying. I just was really trying to be an investor. And what happened was my boy Budweiser wanted me to buy some equipment for him. I bought it. The guy who went with me to pick out all the equipment, he said he knew how to work it. Come to find out, he didn't know a damn thing. He didn't know how to work anything. So I end up having to, kind of pivot and start messing with the equipment myself, which, I'm kind of a quick learner when it comes to anything. I can kind of sit and just see how things work. I was asked a few questions here and there. I went to pawn shops asking them about the RCAs and the quarter-inch plugs and how stuff work, how MIDI work. And once they showed me, I was in the house for maybe like a month. I wasn't hustling. I barely was hustling. My money was going down, and I just was trying to figure it out. And I ended up getting it together and started making beats. And I just was making beats as samples, just trying to learn the equipment because I was going to show my boy really how to work the equipment so he can get back in there and make the beats. But I ended up getting bit with the bug and just couldn't put it down once I started learning how to do the samples and mess with the beat machine. It got addictive. It got fun. It got addictive, and I didn't even want to leave the studio and became they DJ pretty much. They DJ producer, and I kind of got into rapping the same way. I was making a lot of beats. A lot of my guys was faking on coming to the studio. I tell T Lo, man, I got some beats at the studio, got the house, come through. I tell Budweiser, I got beats, man. I want y'all come through. Let's go make some songs. And then start getting lazy. Oh, yeah, I'll be over there later, and they won't come. Oh, yeah, I'll be over there later, oh, then don't come. So I started writing. So I made a rap, just naming everybody in my neighborhood, and it took off. Everybody loved it. And from there, I started just making raps. I did the same. I used the Too Short concept. We say you just put people names in it, they'll play it. So that's what I did. I made a whole song just naming a bunch of people. And I knew they was gonna play it because their name was mentioned in it. And I did the same thing. I said, okay, I did that with my neighborhood. Now it's time for me to do another one where I'm naming everybody in my community in the Hunters Point from different turfs. And I did that. That worked. And I just went on to start making songs after that. I was like, let me try to get Frisco involved now. So yeah, I worked my way in, and man, I'm glad I did. I'm glad everything happened how it was supposed to. Because if my boy would have knew how to work that equipment, I probably would have been outside selling packs and wasn't even tripping. Would have never rapped. I'd have probably just been buying equipment and just been the executive producer, putting them out.
Right. And like, you have a classic marijuana anthem on your first
Right,
album, Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed.
right,
Everybody like, I think like, that's probably like one of the greatest weed songs ever.
right. Appreciate that.
Like, what was I think like I saw an interview you were talking about like you actually had that song like because you were doing a solo album. So you had that like prior to doing the album, the group album with Mr. C.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I had it. It was called "Don't Give Me No Bammer Joint." Not "Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed." It was called "Don't Give Me No Bammer Joint." We don't smoke that shit in Hunters Point. And then we end up switching it to "Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed" because I knew I had to bring Frisco in. So I said I didn't want to make it like a Hunters Point anthem song because then now I'm pushing Fillmore and all the other neighborhoods, Sunnydale, Betrayal Hill. I'm pushing them out. So I said, you know what? Let me just say, don't give me no Bama weed. We don't smoke that shit in the SFC. That way it brings everybody in. Everybody can relate. And that was the best move I could have made because I knew it was a hit.
Right.
When I first made Don't Give Me No Bama Joint, the way everybody was coming up to the neighborhood, asking for the song, wanting a copy of it on cassette, I knew I had something. I was just like, oh man, I said, my boy was like, bro, don't pass this out no more. You don't want nobody to steal your beat like they did CTG. So what was gonna happen is this is a demo. you putting out these demo songs that ain't copywritten or ain't, you ain't did nothing right. I mean, you ain't locked it in, got them trademark, copywritten, or anything. He said, bro, you gotta go put this stuff out. Go get in the studio to where at least you got time stamped of working on it and this and that and all. So he kind of educated me a little bit about doing like a poor man's copyright and all that. And I was just like, yeah, let me go on and go put this stuff down and go to TC Studio. So I stopped releasing them. People was coming up there looking for us. I said, whatever copies is out, that's the copies that's out. Y'all gonna have to wait till it come on the album now. So, and by then I was trying to get in the studio with T-Lo, who didn't want to do the group thing with me. So he ended up introducing me to Mr. C. And that's how we ended up getting started. Because I kind of got cold feet when it was time to go to the studio to do a solo project. I just got nervous. I was just like, yeah, I ain't really a rapper like that. I think I need a real rapper to just be in the forefront. And I could be sort of like DJ and rapper. And that's kind of like how I was trying to do it. I was trying to get T-Lo to actually be that, and he didn't want to. So thank God he did bring Mr. C because it was a better fit anyway.
Yeah, and a lesson to be learned. Sold more than 200,000 copies independently. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So well over 200. Yeah.
You know, you come out like with the follow-up album, and that was pretty successful as well. Ruthless by Law, self-titled. Uh,
Mhm.
what was the inspiration behind the album?
That one was just us just showing that we wasn't dealing with samples no more. And we wanted to self-title it because a lot of people didn't know what RBL stood for. So we was like, let's go on and call our album what our name is, Ruthless by Law. So they'll actually get it because when we was touring on the first album, a lot of people kept asking us, what do RBL stand for? What do RBL? We'd be like, Ruthless by Law. And even after we put it out, Ruthless by Law, people still was asking us, what does RBL stand for? We like Ruthless by Law, so we self-titled the album. But they didn't get it. A lot of people didn't get it, but now they know. But yeah, we were just trying to get away from the samples we was using because we owed a bunch of money from the first album to George Clinton and Prince and I sampled everybody, Ohio players. I mean, I was going crazy once I got to TC Studio and started using them samples. So the Ruthless by Law album was just us showing that, look, we can get away from samples, make original beats, and this is our new wave. This is our new sound.
Most definitely. Black Sea, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I love to have you back sometime. And I love to talk to you about more stuff like, but the Zoom, like I got the free the free Zoom, so it only
Right,
lasts.
right. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, revisited.
yeah, man, definitely. I wanted to get into like a lot more, like I know you spent time on Atlantic. I wanted to ask you about like being on a major label, what that experience was like. But like let's connect some over time if you got the time, and we could follow up. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Okay, for sure. Let's do it.
definitely.
All right, man.